Sorry. You see, like now that I got this mic thing, I was like, the reason why you never hear me talk is because I don't have a mic. I have a mic, but it's like a USB mic that I connect when I'm recording my vocals and stuff. And like it's right there in the corner, and I have no desire at all, to pull it out, set the stupid thing up, put it in. It gets in the way. Okay, it gets in the way, right? And so the other thing is that I'm fucking drawing. I don't want to fucking talk while I'm drawing. Like that is like another thing that like I really not only do I commend to other artists who stream, but also to like just the ability to just be able to do the streaming and the focusing on the people watching and all that kind of stuff and giving them attention and still managing to finish your work. Like that's like really difficult for me. Okay, I'm someone who's easily distracted, and frankly, like it's difficult for me to draw, stop, and like pay attention to what people are saying and like give them attention and then like actually get shit done. Like it's really hard for me. Like I'm somebody that's like once I dive into the work, I can't be distracted. I just want to keep going until I decide, okay, I need to take a step back and then I want to be distracted. And then there's when I take the step back is when I'm supposed to like look and see all the comments and see people looking or whatever. But then even then I don't do that because I'm so used to like there not being anybody here. So I feel really bad that there was like this one time that this fucking I turn and look and there's like a person there and they're all like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I noticed that literally 8 hours after I'm like been sitting here drawing and I didn't notice that this person was trying to get a conversation, and I feel really bad because then I look and they've been like following me for, like since 2016, and I'm like, "Do I know this person? Is this somebody that I know?" And they think I'm like ignoring them and shit. And it's like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't have a mic to talk back, and at the same time, I'm not looking at the fucking chat box. I'm not, because the chat box is fucking like over there, and I'm over here, and it's like over there, and I'm like, I don't have it here. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. But now I got this like headset that has like a real gaming headset that comes with like this mic and all this kind of shit, and it like I finally got it working, and so yeah. So actually, let me see if like this Steven thing even fucking works. Hold on. Yeah, it works. And it sounds good too. The cat's crying like crazy. I'm sure you could hear her. She just wants me to play and stop doing what I'm doing. But yeah, man, I'm like, hey, get away from the sausage, man. She keeps eating my sausage. She keeps fucking going for my sausage, dude. And she does that not because she wants the sausage, because she knows it bothers me and it's my food, and she knows it's my food, and she's like, pay attention to me or else I'm gonna go for your fucking sausage. Oh, you're not paying attention to me? I'm going for your sausage. That's what she's doing. God, these people are all pathetic. I'm sorry. I have MSNBC on the other computer, and I'm like, look, I cut cable a long time ago, and I basically like use my sister's Hulu Live TV because I watch sports. I like to watch sports and stuff. Um, but I put it on just to have it on because why not? All hell's breaking loose. And watching all these fucking GOP people, it's just so sad. These people are so pathetic, dude. They're so pathetic, bro. And it's amazing because they like have the faces of broken people who are like, why isn't anyone listening to me? And now they know how minorities feel. But they really don't know how minorities feel because when people don't listen to minorities, it's like, hey, you just shot me, or you just killed like all my family. Please listen to me. And we're like, no. Or they're like, no. And in this case, it's like they're making up everything that they're complaining about. It's just crazy. But whatever. So I gotta sit back. I gotta start drawing. I gotta get into it now. So, but yeah, I've got this mic now, so I feel real sorry for everybody who's gonna want to come here and check out my drawing because now they gotta hear me. You know, now you're gonna hear me, and you're gonna see, and you're gonna hear how much how annoying I am. I guess you know, and that's like one reason why I don't want to talk, is like I feel like people are gonna not want to hear what I have to say, or they're gonna be like they're gonna be turned off from what I say, because it's obvious that like people don't realize that I'm super politically active and super just vocal about just everything, and that freaks people out, dude. People just want to come here, I realize, to just watch me fucking draw pictures for them or whatever, fucking be an idiot for them, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. The other thing is like, you all are gonna hear me like burp and probably like fart and shit like that, and I don't know how you guys deal with that. I don't know how you guys deal with that. That really scares me the most. Like swallowing. Like, great, you're gonna get to hear me swallow now every 5 seconds. I'm dying of thirst. So what do we do? We're gonna draw. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna draw, right? At some point. I've just been staring at this all morning, all early afternoon. I've just been looking at it and just kind of dreading it. But I gotta jump in, dude. I really don't have much stuff left. It sucks. I'm like on my last fucking stuff. That's the last of it. There's a fucking cat hair in it too. Dude, like, so why is my stream? Why did my stream go down there? That's really weird. Anyways, the GOP asking Supreme Court to block late ballots in Pennsylvania is fucking insane, and that's why the GOP needs to fucking die, dude. Like that shit needs to fucking just be completely. That's it. No more GOP. No more GOP, bro. We're labeling the GOP a terrorist fucking organization. That's what needs to happen, because they are a terrorist organization. For Christ's sake, they are literally asking the Supreme Court to block late ballots in Pennsylvania. Who does that? You know who does that? Terrorists do that. Fucking Taliban does that shit. I don't even think the Taliban does that shit, bro. You know? I don't even think the Taliban does that shit. I don't even think the fucking Taliban is that bad. And they're fucking horrible. The Taliban must be looking at us like, they look at GOP people and they're like, wow, you guys are fucked up. Oh my god. And then they fucking supported Trump. Remember when they fucking came out and they were like, we're backing Trump. It's like, wow, those Talibans are assholes. They did that shit on purpose, bro. Oh my god. They didn't want Trump to be president anymore, you know. So they're like, hey, we're gonna support him. So everybody hates him. God, this place is all on fire. All right, so let's get started. I need my fucking. I'm like Michael Jackson. I can't start without my glove. I need the glove. Where's the glove? Ugh, this is so annoying. Oh, here we go. The fucking glove. The fucking glove. The fucking glove. See, you heard my burp. That's what you're gonna fucking be dealing with now, because I'm not gonna give a shit. I'm not gonna be like, oh god, I gotta mute it because the America's gonna hear my burp. Fuck you, dude. That's what you guys get, because you guys want to hear everything. So, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional animator. I don't even really consider myself an amateur animator. This is literally the first, like, real big animation work that I've done. Is this pilot? Uh, I've done like little small animation kind of like skit things, but that were like probably no longer than like 30 seconds to a minute. Other than that, I've never really been able to kind of like just because of like I just have never done. I've never been able to really do it. But I've always had a fascination with animation. I've always watched animation. I've always watched cartoons. I grew up watching cartoons. I still watch cartoons. I love anime. I love Tom and Jerry, all that kind of stuff. Blah 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 blah. I studied it like just on my own, buying animation books. I bought like a bunch of books when I was younger. Um, Pretty much would just you'd watch an animation, you stop it, and you pause it, and you just watch every frame kind of thing. Used to do that. My dad owned a video store, so I was constantly into film. He was a cinematographer, so I was into film. So I understood like what film was, the concept of it. You know, film is essentially live action animation. So it's like just with that knowledge is how I've gotten to this point. Where I'm like I'm gonna do my own pilot, and that's what this is. This is an animated pilot that I've been working on for 2 years. You know, I do taxes as a living. So like for 6 months out of the year, I pretty much do nothing but taxes. And when I get home from work, I try and do a little bit of work if I can. If I have the energy, I do it. But I'm at a point in my life where it's really hard for me to do both because both takes an intense amount of mental fucking work and mental strain. And so it's like when I get home from sitting doing 16 hours of fucking taxes, I don't want to be at a fucking computer anymore. Like if I'm at a computer, if I'm sitting in front of a screen, it's because I'm playing a video game, chilling the fuck out, you know. And I don't, so it's like it's really difficult to get a lot of work done. Um, and then when I get the time off, I'm like, I've got basically like I get like 4 months off, and I'm sitting here just working on art and trying to catch up with all the time that I've missed. And it's great because you get the 4 months off, you know, and like I'm still doing taxes where like I'll have a client or people who haven't done their stuff, and we go all through October pretty much still doing taxes. And when I get to October, I have October, November, December, and a little bit of September to just that's it. Okay, I'm done. We finished everybody. It really depends on if we finish everybody beforehand. And this year it was really hard for us to finish everybody, and we have a pretty large client base, so we couldn't. It took us a long time to get through everybody. I still think we haven't finished everybody. Um, and that's just because shit's crazy, man. Usually we have an appointment, our client comes in and we get them done. But with the pandemic, it's really hard to see the people and schedule the appointment. Some people, are just, they're reliable. Some people aren't. And so it's just difficult, but whatever. We got through it. And so now I'm able to focus on the animation, and that's what I've been doing for like literally. You've seen me broadcast every day, drawing on this shit, drawing this shit, drawing this shit, and this is basically uh International Horror Association. That's what it's called, and it's a comic series that I started back in 2007. Like I started as like a web comic. I started like I envisioned it as basically like a modern Tales from the Crypt, like how many others have done. And so because I love Tales from the Crypt and I collect EC comics, like that's my thing. Uh, I wanted to do like my own because I just love that format. I love the ability of I love the horror host format, and I love the anthology series. Every show is different, every story is different. There's a collection of shorts. I just love that because within that you can create so much. You have everything is at your plate. Everything is available for you. Like you can do pretty much any genre. You know, as long as there's a little bit of horror, you can do any genre. And so, um, kind of like that's why I kind of pushed with that. And then I had at the same time I was doing Friends in Squares Places, which is something else totally. It's like the opposite side. It's like my comedy. So I balanced out the horror shit with the comedy because I just doing horror is not something that I kind of want to do, but I have a knack for it because I grew up pretty much like a horror freak. I was a total horror freak growing up, but at some point in my life, I kind of like drifted away from horror because just because of like reality shit that I'm not gonna get into, and it kind of made me like, oh, I can't really watch horror the same anymore. But I have this thing inside of me that I have to like outlet. I have to create it. Like I love drawing horror. I love drawing my horror comics. I love writing about horror. I love my horror screenplays. I don't like watching horror. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I can watch old horror films and horror films that I grew up with, I've seen, but like new horror films and new horror stuff, like I can't really, I can't, I can't because of my anxiety and shit, and it's just whatever, bro. But so anyways, this was my little way of being able to create horror, like to my taste. That's like this is the kind of horror that I like, and and sci-fi, and this is the kind of like thrillers and this kind of mysteries that I like, and all these different kinds of genres. And so there's all packed into IHA. So I started drawing IHA in 2007. It was like a small 4-page horror comic. And then I drew another 4-page horror comic. And then at that point, I was like, well, I'm just going to keep drawing until I have enough to put into an anthology. And then I started drawing the next one. And the next one was a little bit longer. And it was based off of like a really old time radio play from Dimension X. And then that's where I came up with the Dimension X, 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 and Tales from the Dimension XXXX, uh, so that I can like do get my sci-fi kick in there, and then the next story was like, okay, well, I did a sci-fi, I did did these two horror things, so let me do like a crime story, like similar to crime and suspense. So I'm hitting all the different genres, within just one graphic novel. And then at that point, something my life was going a bunch of different directions, and then I went and totally like stopped. Like I did it for a little bit, and then the story itself was very personal, and so I kind of like got sucked up into fucking women, bro. I don't know what to tell you, and so I kind of just didn't do the comic for a really long time, and that kind of sat there for years, and then eventually I went back to it, finished it, came up with the last story, which is a cursed antique store on 35th Street, and which i- that story ultimately became is now my favorite thing, and I really want to get back into that at some point, because there's like a really long that I discovered. It was so weird because I discovered within it's like an anthology within an anthology. It's so funny because like the cursed antique store, like every item that's brought in is a different story. So again, you get that anthology thing, different story, different genre. You can do that, and it's within international heart. So it's two levels that it's just like it's blowing my mind, and I kind of want to really work with that and go into that a little bit more. Um, soon we'll get to that, but yeah, eventually. So I eventually had this whole comic. I released the graphic novel. I tried to get it onto Comixology years ago. They rejected it because of they didn't like the font, and they didn't like whatever. And I ended up like self-publishing it through Amazon. Because it's free. You can self-publish anything on Amazon, and it's free. And now with the Kindle publishing and the Amazon publishing services, um, I pretty much sell the comic. I can publish the comic full color, get it printed really nice, and it's cost me like $6-7 per comic, so I can self-publish it myself, and it's me, and it's on Amazon. So if you want to go buy it yourself, you can go on Amazon and you could buy International Horror Association, and they print it out for you. It's print to order, and boom, no problem. And that's like to me has changed the game of both like just creative. It's changed the creative game. Like I don't really. The only reason you need a publisher is for the marketing aspect of it. That they get your book out. They put your book in hands of people and connections that are gonna get the media behind it and get like a marketing push behind it and get people talking about it. They're gonna put you in a position where someone in Idaho is gonna fucking find out about your book. Because even with the internet, someone in Idaho is not gonna find out about your book if not they're not directed there. So like that's basically like was a big deal in letting me, oh shit, I realized I could do this shit on my own. But then eventually the whole thing is that kills it is like I'm not a good marketer. I'm not somebody that's like I can get the book done, but I can't get the book out. Which is partly why I really like Amazon because I put it on Amazon and someone will come up by it eventually. And like if I, put it anywhere else, no one's gonna know about it. So it sucks because I don't want to give this guy so any more money. But at the same time, it's like I really don't got a choice, man, because they set this up and it's perfect. It's exactly the perfect fucking spot for an independent fucking creative. So sorry, I like took a hit of some crazy ass shit and it was like, oh, so I'm like dying now. I'm gonna die. There you go. I died. So yeah, um, so I was doing that for a while, and then eventually I released Volume One, and I printed it out, and then around 2014 ish, I no, excuse me, in 2013, I came across this animation conference in Miami, and they were having a contest that if you pitch that you could you send in like your idea for an animated show and they'll let you pitch it. If they pick you, they'll let you pitch it to like a Fox or like to like major network representatives and stuff. And they had like Fox, they had someone from Disney, they had someone from this gaming company, and they had someone from Cartoon Network. And I ended up becoming a finalist with two of my works. And one of them was Francis Square Places, and the other was IHA. And I kind of had like basically just took in. It was very raw at the time. The idea for the animated pilot, like none of these characters existed. Like at that time, it was just literally Raymond. He shows up at his like crib or at his house, in the middle of a swamp, and like he tells you a story. You sit down and he tells you a story. And I made this a really rough kind of like animated storyboards of like the beginning 5 minutes because they gave you like 6 minutes to pitch or something. And so part of it, I really didn't understand pitching. Number one, because that was the first time I'd ever pitched in front of anybody, and it was like I was a finalist to pitch in front of like here's like your one opportunity to like change your entire life forever. Don't fuck it up. And so it was just like I fucked it up because I was terrible at fucking that shit. Like I didn't know what the fucking I didn't understand the pitching. I didn't understand that concept. Like I get it what it is, but I just like I was like I thought it was like vaudeville. Like I go up in there and I dance and like ha 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 da da like a fucking audition or something. And it's not. Like a pitch is not an audition. It's like in the same world and realm of auditioning, but it's not an audition. And I kind of treated it like an audition, and it just didn't go very well. But I did come away with that they really liked the artwork. They really liked the look of it. And I was like shocked by that shit because I'd always thought that the look of it was very lo-fi and very kind of like bad compared to like other people. But they really liked. They were like, "Wow, this is like really nice." And that's the first time I'd ever heard like literally fucking 25. What was I? No, I was like 30. No, what the fuck was I? It was 2014. It was like what 6 years ago. So it was like What are we in? How old am I? I was like, what, 33, 30 or some shit like that? I don't know. But like, and I'd never like really felt a compliment on my art like that. Even after graduating and my parent, like no one's ever said some shit like that to me. I was like, what? And it was like it was like someone from Disney, dude. It was like that was the Disney lady, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And so at that point, I realized, holy shit, I can game. I realized that I can compete. Like I can compete if I fix the pitch. I can compete. And then I went back and I created a brand new cartoon. I didn't win. And it's where I also met Rich Graham, who does Roach Motel, which I highly recommend you check that out on YouTube. It's called Roach Motel by Rich Graham. He's the one that won, and he went pitched to like Cartoon Network and all these people, and it was crazy. And they didn't pick up his show, but still he got that opportunity, and he's still doing Roach Motel, and it's really good. So but I went back home, and for a whole year, I basically didn't like go out. I didn't eat. I mean, I ate and shit. What am I talking about? Like, I didn't go out. Like I didn't hang out with friends. I didn't see anybody. I just stayed home, and I was just like, I gotta come up with a new idea and a new cartoon to enter in the contest so I can win it again and get the finalist again and win it this time. And I spent a whole year just brainstorming, 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 and then I came up with "You Cannot Defeat My Technique," the kung fu shit. And so I did that. I did the whole pitch for that, entered it, boom, got finalist again. And I was like, oh, I'm winning it this time. I get up there. It's like the same people, and they're all happy to see me again and all that kind of shit. And they were all like ready to hand it to me. And I pitched the thing, and it's a terrible pitch. It's a terrible pitch because I'm reading off the thing. Because before I tried to wing it and go off the brain, because I was like, that's why I do my auditions. I just go in there and I fucking, what's going on? And that didn't work. And so I went back and I was like, well, let me actually write something and follow this script, you know? And I went in there and they were like, you can't be like reading off the thing and all stuff like I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like these are my notes on my shit. What do you want me to do? And but they didn't like it. They didn't dig it and someone else won. And then I was devastated. At that point I was just ready to fucking jump off a bridge. But then I was like, all right, that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be like that, dude. Fine. You rejected my shit twice. I'm just gonna go and just do it on my own. And so then I went back, and then that's when I started really pitching and I started really writing. And then I ended up writing like 3 screenplays in like a year because I was so pissed off that like that year that I just stayed home and I didn't go out. And at that point, I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna even fucking like fuck people, fuck going out, fuck talking to people, fuck women, all this shit. I'm just gonna fucking like chill and work on a screenplay until I literally sell the script. And it's been like that for like a couple years now, where I've just like all I've been doing is focusing on building the studio, building the animation studio, writing, 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 writing more scripts, writing more scripts. And at this point, I have 4 screenplays written, 4 features, like 3 pilots, and all of them I'm pushing out there. And I'm hoping at some point one of them hits. I just finished my first book, my first manuscript that I'm trying to find a publisher for. And I've been trying to find a publisher for it for like about 2, 3 years now. And it's based on my first screenplay. And so I'm just still grinding. And then within all that, like eventually, what I ended up doing was, I learned how do you do an animated show, how an animated show gets done, and I learned all the aspects of it and what he doesn't like, all this kind of stuff. And then at some point, I was like, I gotta write a pilot for this, because I was writing the screenplays and I did the feature and I had written the 3 screenplays. And I was like, I want to do a TV show, and I was like, well, I've got these cartoons, I should do something like for them. And then I ended up writing the script and I came up with the idea of all these characters. And I started pitching that for a long time and got rejected, got rejected. Everybody's rejecting it. No one gives a shit about it. And then I realized when it comes to animation, very it's very hard to write a script for animation and get that shit done. Disney. I have a script that I want for an animated feature. It's insanely difficult to sell that script to Disney. Frankly, it's damn near impossible. Okay? Like you gotta have an inside connection. You gotta be already working for Disney. You gotta have already a career set up, or you gotta it's just gotta be a fucking mirror that they can't fucking turn down, you know, or something that they love, whatever. That shit's just like that's a toss of the dice. Good luck, you balabinga kind of thing, you know. The thing that set me off was that I learned that Seth MacFarlane did fucking Family Guy himself. I think like out of his garage or some shit like that. And once I learned that, I realized, wow, the first fucking episode, the first fucking shit. I mean, look at South Park. They did that shit. They did that shit. South Park didn't write a script, take the script to somebody and have somebody else fucking do it for them. No, they did this shit themselves. You get that shit done. You got to get that shit done. That's what like Rich Graham's doing now. He's getting that shit done. He's got like little episodes every fucking thing, and that's like bro, I shit because he's always releasing little episodes. And that's what you got to do. You just got to build content, build, and eventually that's going to build the audience. Eventually that's going to build talk about it, and eventually someone's going to hear about it, and then that's how you're going to sell your shit. And so it took me a long time to really realize that, but eventually I have a studio art degree. I can fucking draw. I've been drawing cartoons all my life. I know about it. I went and I was able to get an old copy of Harmony 10, which is great. Harmony 10 is great. With Harmony 10, I was able to really hone in on my animation. I ended up doing like a little kind of like intro song for them, like the intro to the show, to like what is the show gonna be like, and that just like created this fire of like, okay, I'm gonna get this shit done. And so I ended up, I know, baby, I'm sorry. I ended up writing the screenplay. I had a couple of friends in it. I wrote a part for Otto von Schurrock, who's a big time Miami kind of like producer here in the city. Like he does EDM, he does IDM, he does like a lot of crazy electronic music, and his show is very very like it's like it's like Hialeah War, if that makes any sense, dude. Okay, and it's basically that, like he's like it's always a trip. There's a lot of bass, a lot of booty music, a lot of fucking uh, cr- uh, uh, uh a lot of like just craziness at his shows. And so I've been good friends with him for a while now because I used to MC and I used to do drum and bass. Well, I still do like I still MC and I still do drum and bass and electronic music, but I used to do it and play out shit. But then I stopped to do all the animation and do the comics, and just do that shit more because I wasn't making money. I'm not making money off any of these things. Like I wasn't making money off of making music, splitting myself in these two fucking things and not making any money. So if I'm not gonna be making money, I'm gonna go full fledged on one of them. And so that's when I started just going into to filmmaking, and then eventually I fucking even did a short film and stuff. So that I wrote, directed, and shot myself. And that was actually a big help to getting enough confidence that I was like, I can do this animation. Was actually filming my first short film, Shannon. That like once I did Shannon, like I was like, oh shit, I can do this. It's just the reason why I couldn't finish Shannon was because the two girls that were the leads, they were a couple and then they broke up and then they didn't want to see each other anymore. And I was like, yo, I can write it so that you guys, you know, aren't together. Okay, fuck you. And so I had to figure out, look, I wanted to film something, but I had this fear of like, look, I don't want to fucking go crazy setting up this film and then to ultimately be fucked over by the actors who are going to be friends of mine because I don't have enough money to hire actors. I don't have enough money to pay anybody. So I got to like convince close friends to, hey, do this part. And unfortunately, I can't trust my close friends when it comes to that. Like I can't trust my close friends to come through for me in that manner. Um, because I don't. It's not because they're assholes and shit, but it's because they work and they got their own lives, and people aren't as into this as I am, and so it's like you can't expect them to give you the same kind of like focus. Like you only get that focus from like professionals and from actual creatives, dude.
and I don't really know a lot of people that are into acting who want to act, who want to do filmmaking. I just don't know. Like I had to, everybody on Shannon, I had to literally convince, hey, do this, don't worry, because they were all like, I'm not a fucking actor, and I'm like, I know, dude, that's why I'm getting you. You know, you're gonna be great. And it was like, whatever, dude, you know. But with the anime, I realized, dude, with the animation, I don't need that shit. I can bring in anybody at any time and just film their voices and do it all myself. And I don't, as soon as I have their voices, I don't need them anymore and I don't have to worry about them anymore. And everything else is just on me. Plays to like crowds of like 100,000 people in Europe. Like he tours all labels. He's in a fucking Apple commercial and shit. And like, so he's a busy guy and he has a kid now, you know, so he's a super busy guy. And my other friends who are like, one is like, you know, he works in a restaurant. The other guy, he does like some stuff with like audio technician and stuff. So it's like, you would expect these guys to show up no problem, and Otto to be the one not to show up. But unfortunately, Otto showed up, and he ended up bringing Armando, who is another good friend of mine, who I'm part of a group called the Creature Tweaker Council, and it's like a group of like South branched out, so it's different genres, but we're the Creature Tweaker Council, and that's where me, Armando, and Rudy, and Emerson, who's the original voice cast. And then, you know, unfortunately, Rudy and Emerson didn't show up, and so I was like, yo, I need all these voices done today. So I ended up getting Armando to do the voice of Ryan, who's a blonde character, and then I ended up just doing the voice of Pete. No, baby, get off of the computer. I ended up doing the voice of Pete, and you know, I was always gonna be the voice of Raymond, and then I had Otto do the voice of the bouncer, and you know, Otto do his part, which is coming up now. Uh, and it worked out. It worked out so perfectly because like Armando had the exact voice and tenor of the look of the character, and it was like everything worked out perfect. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Otto that he was able to come through. Um, so after I recorded all the voices, you know, I'm pretty proficient with SoundForge, and I'm proficient with Fruity. I went I went looking for, you know, sound effects like all over the internet, all the sound effects that I'm just gonna need. I basically laid out the audio track first, and then I lay down the sound effect track, and then I added like the music to it, and it was like a combination of those three processes to like, you know, eventually create this main audio track. And then I'm using the main audio track. I import it to Harmony, and I've just been drawing along to them. That's all I'm doing. Just drawing along to the audio track, right? And then I previously storyboarded like half of it, but the rest of it is still in my head. The rest of it, like I'm like halfway through is where it stops, and I'm like, okay. Then the rest of it, well, like actually that's not true. Yeah, no. The beginning, yeah, the beginning I totally storyboarded. That's right, yeah, I did. So the beginning up until now, maybe like a minute or two later, the is what I have storyboarded, and the rest I'm just gonna wing it because fuck it. Um, but yeah, but that's how I got to where we're at right now, which is creating this fucking thing and doing the animation myself. Um, I upgraded Harmony. I was able to find a copy of it through a friend and or whatever. Um, and now well, I had to switch it actually because Harmony 10 ended up crashing on me. I had to upgrade it because Harmony 10, yeah, I was using a Surface Pro to do the animation in the beginning, and that was killing my neck. I couldn't really do the animation that way because I have a bad neck and a bad back, and it was just destroying me. I couldn't do it, and plus I can't see, so I had to like zoom in really close, and it was killing my eyes. But then I was able to grab a Wacom Cintiq, this beautiful Wacom Cintiq. I was able to get it on eBay for 200 bucks, and it's like practically brand new, and it's been fucking a godsend. Like with this, I've been just banging out so much, and it's really the only reason why I've been able to progress a lot faster with the animation. And as the more I do on it, the more the more faster I'm gonna get. Um, so that's where basically I'm rocking here. I'm rocking harmony. I'm rocking this beautiful welcome synthetic, and I'm rocking this two cats here that are driving me crazy. Um, so yeah, so we're basically right now. Wow, that was a whole long speech that I didn't realize I was gonna get into, but I just started talking, and that's another problem that I have. Is that's the reason why I don't have a mic, is because I tend to babble and I ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble, and and I smoke, and then I ramble, and then like I say stupid things, and you're like, and then that's it. Your life is over. Um, I don't. This thing does this. It's not my computer. It's actually the program when it does that. The whole like locking up shit. So basically, we're on scene 26 right now. We're scene 26 G. So it's the G version. So every time I get a different like shot, I try and save so that I always have a version that I can go back to just in case of anything where I fuck up or something. Um, I know, baby, I'm working here. I know, baby. I'm sorry, baby. And so these are all old storyboards that I had previously that I kind of worked. And then this part is completely different. This is where I'm starting to kind of wing it a little bit because previously they would like look. The shot was that they would like be like, "Oh, it's something cute," and then I imagined something like blood would fall on their shoulder, and then they would look up, like if you see here, like blood would fall on their shoulder. Going, "Yo, that's just loud as fuck." Blood would fall on their shoulder, and then they would look up, and it'd be like a shot of a fucking pig, like with the fucking thing, and then like bleeding on them, and it'd be like ah, and then that's where the ah would come in, right? And then they would be like ah, because then they would see he grabs him and sees the thing, and you see him, and then whatever, and then they would run and all this shit, and then they would bump into Otto, right? That's what's coming up. Would you stop? I can't deal with this cat. This cat is driving me crazy. She wants just nothing but to play with me, but all she's doing is grabbing my food. She's being a little pest. So all that's changed because of the audio track now. The audio track is completely different. The audio track basically has them, you hear Pete saying, well, there's something coming for the bushes. And then you look to the bushes, he turns this guy. So a lot of this stuff I've had to kind of like make up on the way to kind of just fit the actual animation better. And so like, there's something coming from that bush. Quick, shine the light. And before even Ryan right here, he was like, "Oh, shine the light." He's like, "Quick, shine the light," and he did it, and it just didn't make sense. So that's why I cut that out because it didn't really fit. So I'm just gonna have is like, I don't know anything coming from over there, and then the light's gonna go and then shine and then reveal that it's just like a little rabbit, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh." But then this scene, I'm having problems because it's not long enough. Like this moves too fast. Like this part here is too fast, but I really can't do anything because that's the audio track is already locked in. So I'm gonna have to go back when everything is said and done. I'm gonna have to go back and export each individual video, like visual scene, and then build the audio track from scratch, which is like I am totally dreading that shit. I kind of want to see if like I can do that shit on Fruity, but I don't think I can. So I think I'm gonna end up having to do it on fucking this bullshit on Premiere. And I kind of really don't want to deal with that shit because fuck, bro, that's such a pain in the ass to just put every little sound effect, every single fucking voice, every single shit back where it's supposed to be. That's a lot of work, dude. That's just as much work as like drawing this shit, dude. Even though you have all the audio tracks already laid out and cut up, and it's just taking it and putting it like a puzzle. That's a lot of work, dude. But I'm gonna have to do that because a lot of these sounds, the audio is off. Even some of the vocals, there's pops and there's clicks and shit. So I gotta fix that. So at this point, I'm just like, whatever, bro. Let me just get the animation done because that's the hardest thing to do. And then I'll go back and I'll do one more pass with the audio, and then we'll be good. Um, so I had to change a lot of this stuff, and he moves. That's feathers. And then he does the turn, and then now when they bring up the light, is gonna be. I was working on this last night, like after I shut down. Like I don't have any footage of that. It's gonna be like zoomed in here with the pig, like zoomed in really close like that, like you're gonna see it like this, like that, and then it's gonna go out, and then mid scream, it's gonna go. Sorry, where the fuck is this shit? Like mid scream, they're gonna be like because if you listen to it, oh, I'm sorry. If you listen to it, they're screaming at the same time that you get the the surprise, and it's supposed to be surprise the horns and then the scream. So be like and then and I kind of did it at the same time and I fucked that up. So I'm gonna have to go back and separate that in the final cut. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I don't have to. So we'll see. But that's the next step. So that's that, and it's gonna just cut right into them being like this for now. Like it'll show the pig. This is like all gonna be black. This is gonna be black, and then the light's gonna come in, and it's gonna be pig, pig, and then right to them. See, it's just way too short. And then here, see, that's why I have the two arms. He's gonna have that thing, and then he's gonna like grab. Sorry. Like like he's gonna grab his arm. Sorry, I drank some water and it went down the wrong. I'm dying. Yeah, I'm dying. Give me 1 second. I'm dying. So like, he's gonna grab his arm and move it, and then we're gonna get this shot of dark and then the light, feathers, them running, bumping into him. Strike. It's pig, feathers, feathers, running, running, bump to that. So
Hmm. I'm gonna have to change everything. Then just do triple. Like he just shines the light, and then shines the light, and then shines the light. So no running. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we're a little bit better. Okay, so time to work. All right, so that's it. I'm going off. You see? Like, there's no point of this. Like, I just ramble, 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 and that's it. I just gonna be quiet because I'm gonna start to work. So what's the point? I don't know what the point is. I don't know what the point is. My cat has eaten my toy. My entire thing is just gone because of the cat. Listen to me, true. Sometimes I get this clicking sound in the back of my jaw.
the light. Quick, shine the light. Shine the light. 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 Light the light. Light the light. Shady bush. Shady bush. Sounds like something was coming from the dark shady bush. Quick, shine the light. Bush. Quick, shine the light. Shine the light. Shine the light. Quick. Thing was coming from the dark shady bush. Quick, light. quick, shine the light, shine the light, quick, start. But it came shady bush, shady, something was cooking. It sounds like something was coming from that dark, shady bush. Quick, shine the light, quick, shine the light.